This world has billions of people in it, yet you feel completely alone. It's like you're on this endless search of trying to find a place you can call home, but nowhere feels right. You feel kind of like a puzzle piece, not knowing where the rest of your puzzle is. And no matter how many times you finally think you found your puzzle, you eventually realize it's not the right one. It feels like you don't belong anywhere, which is a soul-crushing feeling to experience. And you try really hard for people to understand you so that maybe you'll feel like you can fit in, but no one ever seems to. You look at everyone else, and they seem to be okay, which makes it so much harder to go through this, because it makes you feel even worse. It's okay to feel this way. I felt that way most of my life. A few years ago, I realized a few things that changed my life, and I'm going to tell you about it, and how to help change your life too. The first thing I realized is that sometimes the reason why you're not thriving is because the people around you are poison. You cannot expect to fit in and feel like you belong if you are surrounded by people who are pressuring you to be someone you're not. If they make snot remarks to you while you're just being yourself and you constantly feel like you're being judged unless you wear a mask, then that is a problem. And it's time to reconsider your circle and who needs to get the boot. When you first do this, it's going to feel really lonely. But walking away from people who don't accept you makes room for people who would love to be in your life because they love who you are and they would think you are absolutely amazing. The next thing I did was I looked at everything I didn't like in my life and I wrote it all down. There were some things I wrote down I knew would be a painful experience, but I knew if I didn't do them, well, I would remain in the same place I was in. You can't expect your life to change for the better if you don't make changes, and sometimes those changes are really hard to make. After I wrote down the list, I looked at the top thing on that list, and I started taking steps towards doing it and making those changes. You have to make an active effort to change things for yourself, which sometimes means intentionally putting yourself through painful situations, because you know it's the best thing for you and your future self will thank you for it. The next thing I realized was that I needed to learn to accept myself in order to feel accepted. See, when you grow up around a lot of toxic people, the cruel things they say to you can end up getting stuck in your mind. You have to start rejecting those repeated thoughts, and those things end up repeating in your mind like a broken record. It's really important to reject those things that were said. And when you catch these thoughts echoing in your mind, it's important to stop them and remind yourself of your value and worth. Remind yourself that what they said wasn't true, and you deserve so much better. You have to take the time to start learning to love yourself. And you can start this by writing out the insults you tell yourself, and then 5 reasons why that insult is wrong. I have other videos on self-love that you should definitely check out. They can help you to learn to love yourself more, which can really help you feel less alone. Now, before I get to the last thing, I would love for you to tell me in the comments section, what has been your biggest struggle whenever it comes to feeling lonely? All right, now the last thing that you need to remember, and this is the most important one, is that you're never going to find home if you keep looking for it on the outside. Home is not a place. It's not 4 walls and the people around you. It's the comfort you find within yourself. It's the peace you work towards. Home is self-acceptance and self-love. Home is within you, and when you find that, you'll find home everywhere you go because of how you feel within yourself. Be sure to check out my videos that can really help you in your life. And while you're here, click the subscribe and the notification bell so you don't end up missing out on any future things I post. If you have any requests, be sure to put them in the comments section so I can consider making a video on them in the future.